right, well, do you have a long list of books that you just like to read, but you can't find the time? I do.
Today we have a solution to check some of those off your list. You're going to like this. Carole Barrowman is back to tell us why audiobooks are a good choice. Great to see you.
Nice to see you. Yeah. Although you're making me, I'm glad I'm zooming towards more happiness.
Right, you're getting
there.
You're like on the path.
But I like your friend's menopausal definition, because I figure I'm sort of
mine?
Yeah, is it your friend's?
This friend?
No, it's this friend.
My ovaries have are little walnuts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're
but it's okay.
slow down.
It's happier.
It's perfect. Yeah, I'm still waiting for my happiest.
Yeah, you're getting to. Well, I think about your parents and how happy
I know,
they
right?
always
I
seem
know.
they are.
I know.
I want to say something really quick about audiobooks.
Yes.
Because my youngest daughter is in high school. She's a sophomore, and she almost every book required now for English, she looks up YouTube videos if an audiobook isn't available. And I don't know, I guess there's narrators for like every book they read. So I'll say, are you done with your homework? She's like, no, I have reading. And she goes and listens to the book and watches it. And she says it's so much more reinforcing.
I have no problems with that. Almost all my students in my lit classes read their books by listening to them. And I think it's great. I think if your kids are young still and they're learning how to read, you probably want to keep books all around them and because they're still building their literacy. But I have no problems with people listening to a really good book. The only thing I say, because this happened to one of my students last semester, she got the abridged version of a book. So we were in class and we're talking about this awesome moment, and she's like, that didn't happen in my book.
Wrong book.
Wrong book.
You didn't get the whole version.
Yeah, didn't get the whole one. But I have no problems with that. And I think what ends up happening is that you read more.
Yeah.
You know, because
condensed.
You can listen faster a little bit, and you can do other things. So you're not saying, oh, I have no time to read, so I'm going to go do this. You can do more.
You could do it on the bus. You could do it in the car. You could do it,
A lot of my students who commute are reading while they're on the bus. So I think that's a cool thing to do.
I love this list that you put together because there's a lot of celebrities here. So let's break it down. The first one is Laura Dern, who reads Little Women.
This was great. I mean, I love this book. I mean, I think all of us who are journalists or writers wanted to be Jo, you know, from Little Women. But Laura Dern plays the mom in Greta Gerwig's latest adaptation, and she reads this book.
It's cool.
And it's just, I was trying to think of a really good word to describe her voice, but it's buttery.
That sounds right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just really buttery, and it's a lovely reading of the book, and I highly recommend it. It's really good.
How about your guy, Tom Hanks,
My
reading
favorite.
The Dutch House?
We've had to talk about this because I am not a huge Tom Hanks fan.
I am.
I think he's always playing Tom Hanks.
I love him.
I know you do.
Yeah.
But this, he's perfect for.
Yeah.
The Dutch House is Ann Patchett's latest book. I picked it last year as one of my best books of the year. But a brother and sister, it's sort of a fairy tale. The stepmother kicks them out of the family home. And over the years, they keep coming back to the house and parking outside and trying to imagine what their lives would be like. And it's narrated by Danny, the brother, and Hanks reads the brother's role. It's
cool.
Great. It's really good.
All right, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain reads his memoir, Kitchen Confidential.
So this was the book that really put Bourdain as a celebrity chef, and it's his memoir. And of course, he passed away a few years ago, and I just keep coming back to it. It's one of those I listen to a lot when I'm working out. I don't know why. Food, working out, I feel better.
Yeah, really?
Right?
That's like a little self-torture there.
I know, right? Oh, and this is John and I a few years ago.
I got to meet him.
Yeah, I really got to meet him. And of course, now it's one of my treasured photographs. He was lovely, really generous with his time. And actually gave me a couple of recipe ideas for some things. So that was awesome. So he's reading his own memoir.
That's cool.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, and I think his suicide was very pivotal for a lot of people, and just learning more about him and his story.
And he struggled a lot with drugs and alcohol and depression, and he was, I think a lot of people thought he was out of that cycle.
Yeah.
But depression is it's tough. It's
Absolutely.
tough. But still, it's wonderful to hear his voice.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama reads her memoir.
Yes, I know.
Becoming.
Talk about buttery.
Yeah.
That's like extra Ina Garten buttery.
Yes.
You know that? Yes, it's really good. And so the wonderful thing about this is you hear her telling her family stories from when she was growing up on the south side of Chicago. So I mean, this book, I love this book, just reading this book, you know, without listening to it. But I think if you haven't, you should have this on your list.
It's a fan favorite.
It's really a good book.
This one, I have read some of. Trevor Noah reads his own memoir, Born a Crime.
This is a stunning book.
phenomenal.
It's phenomenal, and it's his memoir, and it's about growing up in apartheid South Africa, and his childhood, and his family, and comedy, and just to hear. He's very ironic and sarcastic anyway, and I think in the reading of it, you get that better when you hear him than if you would just be reading the book.
Right.
So I highly recommend all of it. All
My
these
friend
celebs.
works for him on his
cool.
show,
Oh.
and she said he's just an incredible person
I
on
bet.
and off screen.
And you can tell there's a lot of depth to this book that you might miss if you were just reading it on your own.
Oh, I get that.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
In his own words kind of thing.
Right.
If people go to carolebarrowman.com, they see this full list?
They can see this full list and all my books always on your website.
Love it.
themorningblend.com.
Yep, and more details about all of them.
Thanks,
So cool.
Carol.
I love
Good
that
to see
list.
you.
Thank you.
All right.